Of all the kaiju or giant monster motion picture entertainment that has been made since the 1930s, there are many that have left such a lasting impact to the art of cinema. Kaiju is one of the oldest genres in film, dating back to the early days of movies when special effects were new. Most people dismiss kaiju films as just mindless entertainment about dumb skyscraper-sized monsters ravaging the fictional worlds they live in, fighting epic battles to the death, or straight-up disaster movies with lack of value of human characters to the overall experience. But in fact, they're mostly films that speak volumes about humanity, a theme that runs from start to finish, the meaning of the monsters, with moments that are much deeper or more powerful than you might initially think. What would happen if a Godzilla really appeared? What are the major risks of taking an unknown beast out of its natural habitat? What if Mothra or Rodan actually hatched in today's world? Deep in our thousands and millions of years with nature, there's a chance an animal of sorts is going to turn up, attack us, eat us, destroy our home, etc. It's deep in our DNA that a creature's gonna come today or tomorrow, even if those nightmares become 30 stories tall. And a perfect example of this from the kaiju genre's most famous films is from the 2013 Pacific Rim, an original standalone sci-fi giant monster film about Earth is at war against colossal alien monsters emerging from an interdimensional portal at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The film was a moderate success in 2013, however, it delivered a very rewarding experience. Taking visual effects to a whole new level at the time, knowing when and how to combine CGI with practical effects, weighty, impactful action sequences that are fun to watch, a kick-ass musical score of orchestral and electronic elements that perfectly harmonize with the film but also work perfectly fine on their own, while telling a really good, compelling story about loss, moving on after loss, and dealing with survivor's guilt. Which brings me to one specific scene from this kaiju film, one that's recognized as one of the standouts, and that is Pacific Rim's prologue. As the prologue begins, the audience can see the first kaiju made land in San Francisco in the present time on screen. After the attack was over, kaiju have been consistently appearing one after another from the coasts across the globe, destroying everything in their path. Aware of the situation, the world comes together, putting aside oppositions, combining resources to create a new superweapon to combat the colossal threats, and thus the Jaeger program was born. For many years, humanity was winning, but gradually the kaiju continued to get stronger and more adaptive each time. It is a fight that can no longer continue, and humanity faces extinction. This moment may come across as basic, just a scene explaining things in a very short amount of time before bringing the audience and the story into the present-day world times. However, it's a really good scene that establishes the power and force behind the monsters that threatens the protagonists, instills fear in the audience, uses words in a fine style for the voice narration, and every single shot is dripping with detail. It's a perfect prologue that lays the groundwork for the rest of the film, as well as telling a self-contained story that's well structured. One of the reasons that makes this scene memorable is that it's all visual storytelling. The entire moment uses visuals to show key elements of the narrative that could have likely been lost or forgotten if told through the prologue or by a character later on in the story. And it condenses the whole history of this world in about 3 minutes. In fact, there is so much information you can make an entire movie only with this part, and yet it's not confusing or rushed, but straightforward and clean cut, making viewers believe in the story that they are being told. But the most important thing it does, it yanks you out of your world and immerses you into the world of Pacific Rim. Even the voiceover narration from the character Riley Beckett, played by Charlie Hunnam throughout the majority of the sequence, adds more personality, thought, and soul poured into it. The tone of the voice, the endless destruction, the epic struggle of the resistance, to the ominous tone towards the end, and it all hits really hard. One popular criticism in regards to this scene was Charlie Hunnam's voiceover not being exciting or lacking in pizzazz. And to a certain extent this criticism is valid, however, objectively, Hunnam's voiceover delivery benefits this scene just right. being that this is not some fantastical, superhero, legendary somebody, or some lightweight disposable kind of movie. This is a blue-collar kind of guy taking on new layers of importance while giving viewers a genuine feel and image of what they would do or go about when kaijus hit. Alongside the music when it kicks in, you know that humanity is going to be on the hopeless end in this film, but also inspiring courage and determination and hope with the Jaeger program. That one can be a badass who will save the world at any cost, but you are also human and that cost will take its toll one way or another. Not to mention the writing in this narration has one of the most memorable lines in not just the movie, but arguably one of the best in the kaiju genre's cinema history.
To fight monsters, we created monsters of our own.
Prologues are a tough bag in any film, especially ones that are narrated. Being deliberate about what information the audience is allowed to know at the point in the film is essential in not making an introductory scene boring or too extensive, and Pacific Rim's opening is stellar. There are multiple times throughout the film that characters reference the prologue story, expanding on ideas or themes that didn't need to be fleshed out until later. Giant monsters have been savaging cities and realms in the world of cinema for decades. When making a kaiju movie that holds up, there should be a societal level fear or problem being conveyed through the creature. A monster or monsters representing an outside threat, bringing terror and violence, and through the characters, the audience can feel what it's like to experience such a calamity. And this scene is sharp as a tack. The kaiju are fully realized obstacles with motivation, personality, and large-scale conflict. Personally, this scene deserves to be recognized not because it just gets everything right about a prologue, pulling you in, telling you what is relevant now before diving deeper into the heart of the story in an engaging way, but it's a well-executed, chilling scene that epitomizes nearly everything the kaiju genre represents, and a scene that hits harder by the end of the movie. One remarkable and epic monstrous moment.